Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Yes, we have another Fatal Fury City of the Wolves character trailer for you. And I know you're thinking, well, didn't we just get one at EVO? Well, yes. But right now, the Chinajoy expo is happening, and SNK kind of a big deal in China. So yeah, we're getting two in the span of a couple days, and I'm not going to complain. And also, yes, it is indeed Billy Kane. Now, Billy probably looking a lot different than you remember. This is maybe the most wild redesign for a character in a very long time in a fighting game, as without the signature staff, you probably wouldn't even know it is Billy. But, you know, there's some reasons for it. There's some lore for it here, and we're going to get into it. And also, Billy, hey, welcome as a Fatal Fury character. So, City of the Wolves, you know, kind of following along with the Mark of the Wolves roster. Billy, just like Terry, is a proper Fatal Fury original. And we've talked about in other videos, but like when it comes to people like Joe Higashi, Mai Shiranui, other Fatal Fury originals, it's a very safe bet you can expect to see them in this game. So it's just not only going to be Mark of the Wolves people. This is Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, after all, not just Mark of the Wolves 2. So we are going to dig into the gameplay as you would expect, but first let's talk some things about both Billy and the setting, because I feel that's kind of pertinent here, especially with the wild redesign. So one, we do have a little story blurb for Billy, and officially now Billy is the person who is at the head of the Howard Connection crime family. Geese is dead in the Fatal Fury timeline, although he's still alive in the King of Fighters timeline. It's a whole thing, folks. But yeah, so Billy very much in charge of the whole crime organization, right? He's always been the #2 guy, and now, at least until they resurrect Geese, which is pretty much totally going to be a thing, he is the #1 guy. Now, next thing I'm sure you're wondering is, well, what about the look? Well, he's the #1 guy now, right? So he's affecting a new look, probably having some sort of midlife crisis, because Billy was born to be a henchman, and without the boss, what is he gonna do? Another note specifically about the look. In Garou, Mark of the Wolves, it is set in the far future of 2008. Because, you know, it came out in the 90s, right? So I'm assuming it takes place City of the Wolves a year or two later. And then, you know, think of boy bands and stuff of the era. And then all of a sudden, the look gets a bit more, you know, appropriate, right? You know, at least for the time frame we're working in. Either that or he's just a really big Jeff Jarrett fan. And you know what? It still evokes some of the Billy-isms, even if it's not immediately apparent. Billy, well, it's debatable, but I run with the more fun version of it. Billy's a bit of an activist, rocking the classic no smoking jacket. Some people say he stole it, but whatever. But we have a similar-ish message now on new Billy. We can see here on the back of his new jacket, it says, "Save the planet." And it has his staff through the planet with the flames as, you know, he summons a lot of fire, right? Which, I don't know how well that's going to save the planet, but still, it's a good message, right? And you assume if he's the boss of the Mafia family now, he could afford his own jacket, he doesn't have to steal it. So I'm going to go with he actually wants this, and this is his message. Maybe he is a weird henchman, but you know what? His heart's in the right place. And now, just to shout out to the one guy in the comments that's going to say this, yes, it is technically Billy Kane, not Billy Kane. Except here's the deal. Literally no one's ever going to say that. It's why we say Zangief and not Zangief, even though that's correct. Because Billy Kane's just better. We're going to be having these fights when Kine, yes, it's Kine, not Kane, gets announced, so just heading this one off at the pass. And before we get into the proper gameplay breakdown, there is one more detail I want to bring up, and that's just simply the stage itself. Given, you know, it seems to be under an underpass here, nighttime, all that stuff, sort of reminiscent of Freeman's stage. Not exactly one-to-one, although it does evoke it in a lot of ways, at least in my opinion. And the Kevin trailer and the Kevin story from a little bit ago heavily implied that Freeman is still very much a thing. Our resident Southtown serial killer, so we need more baddies, and Freeman's a pretty safe bet to show up. Now, let's get to the trailer breakdown. There's some very interesting stuff here. A lot of Billy classics, which is, hey, it's what you want, right? You want to play Billy Kane, you want him to do the Billy Kane stuff. So we have that, and some new tricks. And also, given that he's never been in this kind of gameplay system before, he could definitely benefit. A lot of the older Mark of the Wolves characters, they never existed in a game with EX moves till now, right? Well, Billy never existed in a game like, Mark of the Wolves, where breaks were a thing, and everyone will have break moves, so he can definitely benefit from that. Now, gameplay-wise, hopefully he's better than, say, in recent King of Fighters outings, where he's, like, debatably the worst character in the game. But you know what? Billy, multiple-time KOF champion himself, so hopefully they'll do him right. So to open up the trailer here, we can see heavy punch, heavy punch, heavy kick. This is sort of like a target combo that everyone seemingly has, so universal. Now, after this, we got the classics. So these are Billy's very classic command normals. One where he'll kind of leap and do a double hitting on you, and the other one where he'll use the staff like a pogo, I don't know what the proper terminology here, but he'll use it to kind of leap himself forward. You'll find these in just about every game, and they return here. Next up, well, Billy is the original British weapon zoner of fighting games. Sorry, Axel. Axel almost certainly inspired by Billy, actually, considering, they're both overwhelmingly British, have weapon zoning, and in the original Guilty Gear, you can even find Fatal Fury characters on Axel's stage. My Terry, Andy Geese, they're all there. So it's always been one of the core conceits of Billy, is that he can extend the staff and have some real range that other characters can't necessarily compete with. In fighting game terms, I guess we'd call this limb zoning, but he's not quite Dawsome either. Billy might have a lot of fire, yes, but not exactly much in the way of teleports. Now here, it seems we have an all-new move. I don't know if this is like a Rekka style move or what, but he's giving you the beat down with the staff up close and personal. Lots of the returning characters are getting new tricks, new moves, so would stand much the same that Billy also gets something new to play around with. Now here's where we see Billy directly benefit from the Fatal Fury City of the Wolves systems, right? Because he's doing a break attack. Here where we see him launch up, he lands back on the ground and then juggles with the upstick and the flame, right? Normally, in most games, he would go flying up in the air along with the stick and then come crashing down. But since this is the game that it is and everyone can break certain moves early, he's breaking this move early and using it to get juggle potential after the fact. This is more classical fighting game combo structure, launcher, follow up after the launcher, right? Juggle. And that's something he's struggled with over the years, honestly, sometimes depending on the game, right? So this is actually kind of a big deal for him. It's simple, but it absolutely works in his favor. It's good. And also directly going from that, another thing that benefits Billy a lot is the Rev Blow system. So this, you glow green, you get armor, you can smash through the enemy. I guess analogous, say, to Street Fighter 6 Drive Impact, sure, or Focus Attack. Billy's defense, never been great. So having a universal armored move to work with, just strict benefit to him. Sure, it's a universal mechanic, sure, everyone gets it, but as a character with traditionally weak active defense, once you get past the zoning, having an armored move is definitely a blessing. Here we can see Billy making further use of the City of the Wolves systems, in that we got some fancy Rev Blow combos. So he starts off with an EX extended strike, which pulls you in like a scorpion spear, if you will. Then Rev cancels that into the EX Rekka move that we saw earlier. Then Rev cancels that into his Rev Blow. And then just, I would assume this does a fair bit of damage. Can really use that range to reach out and touch you, as it were. Now here's another fun one, and I'm interested to see where this one's gonna go. So we start off kind of much the same. EX Extend brings you in right beside Billy. Then we have his spin move. Now this move is classically a mash input. And in recent years, like Street Fighter, or like, mash inputs have been taken away, or a lot of games are just even simplifying inputs, right? So here's the thing. Is this going to be simplified, or is SNK just going to be SNK? They don't care about modern advances, and you're still going to mash that punch button like crazy to get your staff spin in. Then we rev cancel that into the pogo, break cancel so we can juggle. Once again, this is great for Billy and his combo ability. And then we go into his classical super where he rushes up and then does the flame spin. Following that, we have the more classical flame spin super, and well, he just kind of spins the stick and you get burned something fierce. After this, we get a preview of a level 2 version of one of the supers. So much the same here, kind of knocks you up. Gonna go for the flame spin, but just a little extra sass at the end, beating your head in with the stick. And finally, for the trailer, we get a preview at the Hidden Gear. Hidden Gear being, the big ultra cinematic super every character can get. Takes both of your super bars, and you have to be in the very specific SPG portion of your health. And if you can get it, well, then you get the big damage, right? And Billy kind of clowning on the enemy. I'm digging it here. He's just kind of having a grand old time. Big old flame sphere and just sending them off into this atmosphere exploding. And that's the trailer, and to me, very strong trailer. It's a good example of Billy benefiting from the specific gameplay systems of City of the Wolves with breaks and SPG and getting universal armor, all that. The look, I'm not gonna lie to you. At first blush, I didn't like it at all, right? Now it's sort of growing on me. Although, if they're smart, they'll do more costume work than they did in King of Fighters 15. I'm sure a lot of people would buy the classic Billy costume. You know, classic Terry, other costumes, right? And if we got other returners like Joe and Mai, they might have all new, brand new looks as well. And I guess we'll have to wait and see on that, I suppose. But if there's a new look for Mai, don't worry. People will spend a lot of money for the classic Mai costume. So SNK, pay attention. You dropped the ball on costume DLC in King of Fighters 15. Do not do it this time around. But yeah, everything City of the Wolves is just looking fantastic. Every time I see it, looks great. I did get more hand-on time with it at EVO, as well as an interview with some of the developers. So expect developer interview and more City of the Wolves thoughts and gameplay in a video on the channel in a few days. Other than that, hey, honestly, give us hell, SNK. Everything's looking golden. So till then, that's the end of the video, my friends. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Fatal Fury.